The guys on that basketball court are tough, but Kim Carlson is much tougher. On February 26, 2016, she suffered the greatest loss a mother can ever suffer. She lost her son, 26-year-old Alex Folk, to a heroin overdose. She spoke tonight during halftime of the Jackals game. She urged the community to make a difference, to look for warning signs and look out for those who may be suffering an active addiction. We sat down with Kim during the first quarter of the Jackals game on Friday night. She was very candid with us about her motivation and what drives her to keep pushing, even though the odds are against her. This is a WNY News Now exclusive interview with Kim Carlson, a mother recovering from the loss of her son and a recovering alcoholic herself.
I have to do something with my grief. I think you realize, many people do, I don't hide it. I'm an alcoholic in recovery. And if I'm not giving back and if I'm not doing something good with my grief, I'm going to be the next mess.
Has it surprised you that you've had this much motivation, that the pain has motivated you? Because I know the program will say the pain could be a great motivator, but it's been better than great for you.
You know what? I think it's because what we're doing is filling the gaps where different agencies and different organizations drop off and others pick up. We're the in-between. I always tell people we're the human part of it. We are the moms, we are the dads, we are the brothers and the sisters. We're the ones that have our phones on 24 hours a day. We're the ones that sit and listen. We're the ones that understand. Many of the people that are in our nonprofit organization have been there. They understand.
If you were not a recovering alcoholic addict, would this even be possible, this dream and the execution of everything you're doing, from the recovery houses to the speaking engagements to the sheer just answering your phone for a struggling woman at midnight? Would any of that be possible?
I don't know. You know, without my recovery and what I've learned from my own recovery, I don't know that I would be, I don't know that I would do it. I really don't know. It's, on my worst days, I have to put the people that are still sick and suffering before myself. And that's what I learned in recovery. And I also learned in recovery that when the pain is full strength and you're just wondering how you're going to make it through the next minute, that's where the strength comes from. And if I can share that with people to help them get a little bit further in life, so far it seems to be working.
Are you at peace right now? Are you truly at peace?
I don't know that I'm ever completely at peace, Ryan. You know, this is a tough month. Alex died at the age of 26 on February 26th. My birthday is February 1st. And to me, each day leading up to the anniversary of Alex's death represents a year. And it's, fortunately, I have a lot of happy memories. But here we are 2 years later, and I still say, is this how our story goes?
Are you angry with the heroin? Are you angry with the addiction? Are you angry with just general circumstances? Is there any anger in your heart at all? Because you seem to have a lot of empathy.
Mm-hmm. No, there's no anger. No anger at all. That's not going to do me or anybody else any good. I feel bad that this epidemic has steamrolled our entire country, and I don't think people saw it coming.
I think you're right. You know, there's so many kids out here, and we're watching a basketball game, but we've come together for awareness and more education, and we need to continue to do that. But in the midst there, I see a lot of people that we could potentially reach before it gets to them. Is that your goal?
Absolutely. because you know what? If we can drive home the fact that the drugs that we're seeing now are so addicting, not only are they so addicting, but there's other medications and prescriptions that can have the same effect without the addiction aspect. And I know, as many other people do, that, once you're hooked, it's tough. It is really, really hard to get away from it.
There's a lot of loopholes in New York State that will bypass or overlook somebody that really needs help from getting help. And you seem to be meeting every challenge, and I know you're working your butt off. How are you meeting those challenges, and the politicians that are in control, how receptive have they been to what you want to do, which is affect change, widespread?
I think that everybody, for the most part, as far as I know, people have been receptive. I try not to get on the political bandwagon.
Is that tough, though, with what you're doing? Because a lot of that stuff goes hand in hand.
No, because you know what? We, again, we're the human side of it. We are, I always tell our group, I don't want to be a meeting group, I want to be an action group. Where do we need to be and what do we need to do? And I don't ever want to be in the political arena. It's just not for me. But I think that if we can work with the people that are adding to the success and who have started creating the success, we're very closely connected to the Mental Health Association, UPMC Chautauqua, the Suicide Alliance, CASIC.
Where would we be without those organizations? And this is a tiny community with a very large problem, a lot of good, but still a lot to tackle. Where would we be without MHA, CASIC, UPMC, WCA Chautauqua?
I can't even imagine where we'd be, Ryan. It would be catastrophic.
One thing that people don't understand is there's a lot of people putting in a lot of work behind the scenes. You have an army. I'm sure you have an army of people that care and love you and support you in your mission. You want to acknowledge some of those people right now?
Oh my goodness, all of the volunteers from A Fresh Start, everybody at MHA, everybody at UPMC Chautauqua, everybody at CASIC, all of the guys in the Oxford houses that we have here in town. Every single volunteer that has lifted a finger, sent a letter, ran around, picked up gift baskets, from organizing meetings. It just, I'm amazed. And I shouldn't be, because you know what? That's what we do in Chautauqua County. We come together.
Right.
And we bring change.
It's amazing when you're clean and sober, you find the solution, don't you?
It's amazing, yeah. And it's right. It just rolls out exactly the way it's supposed to roll out, Ryan.
What is one common misconception, Kim, that we have that an average person might be saying, well, why are you talking about this in depth? Why do we have to go in depth? Why do we even have to look for a solution? What is the magnitude of the problem right now in our community? And I know it's all over, but what's the reality here?
Yeah. The reality here is meth is terrible here right now. The heroin continues to hang right in there. Just a lot of dysfunction, a lot of very sick people who are caught up in that circle of, they might be able to get a little bit of help, but then they go back to the same people, places, and things. They're not, we've got to take this seriously. A very dear friend of mine told me once that she came home from Roswell 40 years ago and she had been diagnosed with breast cancer. And there was nobody to call. In my mind, I hope it doesn't take 40 years to talk about the epidemic we have in our hands. But we've got to make up for some lost time.
If there's a mother out there that is watching this that says, oh, maybe my son or daughter has a problem, but A, I don't want to see it, and B, it's probably not that bad, what would you say to them?
It's probably going to get that bad. And know the facts. pay attention to what you're seeing. Know what's going on in your child's life, and when you see something, address it. And more than anything, I don't believe in tough love. I believe in love. If somebody believes that they have a child or a loved one that may be using, remember that it's a disease, and to handle that person the same way you would handle somebody who had another disease.